Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live. In today's Crypto Corner, focusing in on a bit of a sell-off we have in the crypto space as Bitcoin briefly dipped below that $30,000 level. And despite the big sell-off, companies working on the sector's infrastructure continue to raise heaps of money. And Hong Kong's crypto trading startup Amber Group is the latest proof of that. The company became the latest crypto-focused unicorn, raising $100 million in a Series B funding round with backing from big names, including Tiger Global Management and China Renaissance. But that pre-money $1 billion valuation is up 10x from its Series A just 2 years ago. And for more on that growth, very happy to bring on the CEO and co-founder of Amber Group, Michael Wu, joining us in the wee hours of the night from Hong Kong. Appreciate you staying up for us, Mike. And want to get into kind of how you guys have been able to grow the business in just a second. But since we're seeing a pretty intense sell-off here today, maybe just focusing in on the volatility. I mean, have you seen any signs of maybe institutional investors pulling back in the enthusiasm you saw earlier in the year, given the sell-off now?
That's a great question, Zach. I actually, to be very straightforward, I don't think institutional investors are backing off at all. If anything, I think this probably provides them a better timing to really assess this market in terms of its fundamentals, in terms of its infrastructure, and give them a bit of time to see things more clearly. After all the frenzy takes a pause. Right, if you compare it to, say the fourth quarter of last year or the first quarter of this year, market was just rallying too much and too fast. If you are a long-term institutional investor, you probably do not want to jump all in that kind of market, and rather wait for a dip or for a consolidation where you will have the time to really analyze this very young and a new asset class and to really evaluate for the long run. And from the kind of flows we see, I think the institutional investors are still adopting to this asset class, step by step, and we think that's very healthy long term for the industry.
Yeah, I mean, even though we're seeing crypto crash trend on Twitter, it's worth pointing out Ether's still up 155% year to date. So just kind of putting the losses maybe in perspective at this point. But when it comes to you guys at Amber Group, interesting because I assume volatility would be good regardless for you guys if you're playing it kind of from technical place of trading in what you guys do for your clients, but also interestingly launching the app maybe focused more on the retail consumer side last year in Q3 of 2020. So talk to me about the growth you guys are seeing in terms of what the strategy is to drive things now off that additional $100 million in fundraising.
Sure, thank you. I mean, for us, right, our backgrounds is more, we started as a bunch of traders and quants out of Morgan Stanley, right? So our background was a bit more on the institutional side to start with. And that was our initial client base for the hedge funds, VCs, corporates, or family offices alike, right? But last year, since the launch of our mobile app, the Amber app, and what we call the product suite, which also included the web portal and our 24/7 voice desk, we really think, we have the technology, we have the ability, we have the platform to really bring the same kind of institutional grade crypto finance services to global individual customers. We think this kind of a one-stop integrated smart crypto finance services can be no longer exclusive, right? They can be enjoyed and everyday investor, everyday trader can benefit from the same kind of services. And, that's what we've been focusing on, since I guess launching of the product last year. And this fundraise, as you mentioned, of course, it's a big milestone for us, but I really think it's more of a product rather than, it's more of a side product even, of what we focus on rather than, really a huge deal for us. I mean, it will help us, with the recognition and backing of all these, more well-known traditional investors. It helps, bring the name more mainstream. It helps with broader crypto adoption, not just with Amber. And, I think, we're doing our bit for the industry in that sense as well.
Michael, yesterday we saw the PBOC come out with a statement to crack down, or really guiding the big banks as well as payment services along in cracking down on any existing loopholes for those who are currently trading crypto. And I know the crackdown right now is on the mainland, but I'm wondering how you're watching that play out and whether you are concerned that there could be a spillover effect into Hong Kong.
Thank you for the question, Akiko. I think, like you say, there are some, crypto is a global asset, right? Crypto finance is a very global industry from day one. And therefore, as crypto finance entrepreneurs, we kind of have to learn and to deal with different regulations in different jurisdictions. Some of those, including mainland China, will be a bit more conservative and somewhat against crypto. Well, there are also other jurisdictions that take a much more open and welcoming stance towards the industry. Back to your question, I think we're not overly concerned. This is still a very global market, and we think this industry is still very young. There will be ups and downs, and sometimes, like what we've seen recently, the fluctuations can come from external policy shocks. But over time, I think, it's still superior technology, and superior technology will prevail eventually. In terms of Hong Kong or broader Asian markets, I think, regulators will take different stance, and, even in the same region or same country, regulators will take a different stance over time. And, our approach is always, we are observant, we are open-minded, but, we try to innovate within the framework that's given by different regulators in different markets.
Yeah, and it sounds like, your institutional customers, they're large hedge funds, family offices, businesses as well. Are the bulk of the business right now. I wonder how much that might be coming from China versus maybe, when we look at opportunities elsewhere, which ones you're keying in on, as it seems like there's quite a bit of money chasing that side of the crypto sphere in capturing some of that institutional excitement.
Yeah, for sure. I think for institutional investors, one thing is they are also very global, right? If you're large enough, whether as a fund, as an asset manager, or as a corporate, likely you have, operations, or you have, businesses across multiple countries. And, there will be, parts of the world where, your business can interact with crypto. And overall, I think the global business community, right, or the global investing community overall is still very welcoming, and there's still a lot of them are still curious, but more so, are really accepting the crypto adoption.
Today might be a little bit harder to accept it, but of course, as we noted over the year, still enjoying some gains there. But Michael Wu, Amber Group co-founder and CEO, congrats again on the Series B. And keep us posted on the growth out there. We'll chat again soon.